The rain poured down hard on the concrete walkways of Sector 7, where the sky glowed purple through the dome overhead, and the metal towers buzzed with faraway engines. She sat there, bent over against the brick wall, her purple skin shiny with rain and tears, her body shaking as people walked by without looking. The words still rang in her ears. Freak, unwanted mistake. While her child watched from behind an old shipping box, small hands held onto yellow cloth. No one stopped. No one cared until a man bent down beside her, his eyes showing something the colony had forgotten. Kindness. And what happened next would spread through the stars in ways no one could guess. Before we start, subscribe now so you don't miss more amazing stories like this one. Oh, and before we start, tell us in the comments where you are watching this video from. We love hearing from you and always read every message. The colony of New Eden spread out under fake skies, a meeting place where 17 different alien species came together for trading, government business, and staying alive. But Sector 7 was different. It was where the forgotten people gathered, those who couldn't afford the upper neighborhoods, whose bodies didn't match the perfect look the colony wanted. The buildings here were older, falling apart, fixed with rust and quick repairs. Bright neon signs blinked in both human and alien languages, throwing broken light across puddles that never dried up. Liara sat against the wall of an empty warehouse. Her breathing was hard, her body hurting from just trying to exist in a world not made for her. She was Varian, a species known for being beautiful, skinny, and graceful. But Liara was different. Her body was heavy, soft, round in ways her people thought was shameful. Back on Velar Prime, she had been a scientist, smart and respected. Then the accident happened. Her body stopped working right, the weight that wouldn't stop coming, the whispers that turned to yelling. She ran away to New Eden with her daughter Mira, hoping for a new beginning. Instead, they found new meanness. "Move along. You're blocking the path," growled a Cathan security officer, his shell-covered body shining under the dome lights. He poked her shoulder with his electric stick, not enough to shock, but enough to embarrass her. Liara tried to stand. Her legs shook. Pain shot through her joints like electric fire. I'm trying," she whispered. "Please, I just need a moment." "You need a ride or a diet?" The officer laughed meanly. Behind him, a crowd gathered. Humans, aliens, children with cameras. Some laughed, others just watched, their faces showing no feelings. "Mama," Mira's voice cut through the rain. The little girl ran forward, her yellow raincoat too big for her small body, her pointed ears, so like her mother's, pressed flat against her head in worry. "Stay back, Mira." Liara reached out, but her daughter was already there, small arms wrapping around her neck with desperate strength. "Leave my mama alone," Mira shouted at the officer, her voice brave despite her size and fear. The crowd laughed harder. Someone yelled something rude in Galactic Standard. The officer raised his stick higher, getting ready to push them both away. "That's enough." The voice was calm, steady, cutting through the noise like a knife through water. The crowd became quiet. Even the rain seemed to soften. A man stepped forward. Human, mid-30s, dark hair stuck to his forehead, gray-green shirt soaked through and stuck to his body. He stood between the officer and Liara, his body relaxed but unmovable, like a wall that had been through too many storms to be scared by one more. "She's not breaking any laws," the man said quietly. "And neither is her daughter." The officer's mouth parts clicked in anger. "This doesn't concern you, human. Move along or I'll write you up for getting in the way. It concerns me now, and you can write up whatever you want." The man didn't raise his voice, didn't threaten, didn't show off, but something in his eyes, something worn and tired but unbreakable, made the officer stop. Maybe it was the scars on his knuckles. Maybe it was the way he stood like someone who'd learned to be a wall when needed. The officer stepped back, mumbling something about human interference, and waved the crowd away with an annoyed hand motion. Slowly they left, disappointed their entertainment was over. The man turned and bent down beside Liara, his eyes level with hers. Up close, she could see the tiredness in his face, the lines around his eyes that showed sleepless nights and hard choices. But she also saw something else, something she hadn't seen in another person's eyes in so long. She'd almost forgotten what it looked like. Understanding. "Are you hurt?" he asked gently, his voice low so only she could hear. Liara shook her head, unable to speak past the tightness in her throat. "Can you walk?" I don't know," I can't, my legs, they won't. Her voice broke. The man glanced at Mira, who clutched her mother tighter, then looked back at Liara. His face was kind, patient, free of judging. My name is Ethan, he said. And you're not staying out here tonight? Not in this rain. Not like this. We can't, Liara began. Yes, you can. And yes, you will. Come on. One step at a time. But while the crowd went back into the neon-lit streets, none of them noticed the security camera floating above the warehouse roof or the symbol it carried. The mark of the colony's Migration Control Office already marking Liara's information for immediate review and possible deportation. Ethan's apartment was small, located on the 4th level of an apartment building that creaked with age. The elevator was broken, so he carried Liara up the stairs, one arm supporting her back, the other under her legs, moving slowly, carefully, never once making her feel like she was too heavy, despite the strain she could see in his jaw. Mira followed close behind, her small hand gripping his shirt. Inside, the apartment was simple but clean. One room with a tiny kitchen, a sleeping area, and a window looking out at the sector's main street. Children's drawings covered one wall, colorful pictures of spaceships and alien worlds. A small bed sat in the corner, clearly belonging to a child. "Where's your—" Liara began, but the question stopped when she saw the photograph on the shelf. A woman with kind eyes, her arm around a younger-looking Ethan, real flowers placed beside it. "She passed 2 years ago," Ethan said quietly, setting Liara down on the couch. "Cancer. The treatments here aren't what they promised." "I'm so sorry," Liara whispered. "Me too." He turned to Mira, who stood frozen by the door. "Hey, you hungry?" Mira nodded slowly. "I've got some soup and bread. Not fancy, but it's warm." He moved to the tiny kitchen, pulling out containers. "You can sit on the bed if you want. There's books there. My son loves those stories. He's with his grandmother tonight." While Ethan heated the soup, Liara watched him move through the small space with practiced smoothness. There was a gentleness to him, a carefulness in how he handled the bowls, how he spoke to Mira. "Why did you help me?" she asked suddenly. Ethan paused, his back to her. For a moment he didn't answer. Then, because no one helped us when we needed it. He turned, carrying 2 bowls. He handed one to Mira, then brought the other to Liara. "When my wife got sick, we lost everything. Medical debt, lost our housing in the upper levels, ended up here. People, they see you falling and they step over you like you're already gone." His voice was steady, but his jaw was tight. "I watched people I thought were friends walk past us on the street, watched them pretend they didn't see us." He sat on the floor, leaning against the wall. "I swore I'd never be that person. I swore that if I saw someone who needed help, I'd stop. Even if it was hard. Even if it cost me something." He looked directly at Liara. "My son needs to know that's how the world should work. Not by stepping over each other, but by reaching down. You have a son. You shouldn't risk your safety for strangers," Liara said. "Risk what? Being human?" Ethan's eyes held hers. "My son knows what his mother taught us. We take care of each other. That's not up for debate. That's who we are." Outside, the neon lights blinked. Rain drummed against the window. For the first time in months, Liara felt warm. She felt safe. But as she sipped the soup, a knock echoed through the apartment. Sharp, official, unmistakable. "Migration Control Bureau," a voice announced from the hall. "Open the door now." Mira dropped her bowl. Liara's heart stopped. Ethan stood slowly, his face hardening. He walked to the door, but before opening it, he glanced back at Liara. "Whatever happens," he said quietly, "you're not going back out there tonight. I don't care what they say." And just when everyone thought the night would end in safety, the door slid open to reveal 3 armored officers, and the lead inspector's eyes locked onto Liara with cold recognition. The lead inspector was human, a woman with sharp features and steel-gray hair pulled back tightly. Her uniform had the badge of Migration Control, 3 circles overlapping. Her tablet glowed in her hands. The officers beside her were Cathan, their shells clicking with each movement. "Liara Veshner," the inspector said, reading from the tablet. "Valerian citizen, expired residential permit as of 16 days ago. Outstanding medical debts totaling 47,000 credits, multiple violations of housing rules." She looked up. "You've been marked for immediate deportation." "She's my guest," Ethan said firmly. "She's not breaking any laws by being here." Her presence in the colony is the violation, Mr. Reed. Ethan Reed. The inspector made a note. Mr. Reed, I understand your helpful feelings, but this person has run out of legal options. She'll be processed and returned to Velar Prime within 72 hours, and her child will be placed in temporary colony care. No, Liara's voice cracked. She tried to stand but fell back. Please, you don't understand. If I go back, they'll take my daughter. I'll be sent to a prison-like place. I'll never see her again. That's a matter for Varian authorities, the inspector said without emotion. Our power ends at the colony border. She's not going anywhere, Ethan said, and there was steel in his voice now. The inspector's eyes narrowed. Getting in the way of a migration control operation is a crime, Mr. Reed. You'll be arrested as well, and your son will be placed in social services. Is that what you want? If that's what it takes. Silence filled the apartment. Mira held her mother, shaking with silent crying. Liara reached for her daughter's hand, squeezing tight. The inspector stepped forward, her hand moving toward the handcuffs on her belt. Mr. Reed, I don't want to make this worse, but if you insist, what's your name? Ethan asked suddenly, his tone changing. The inspector blinked. Excuse me, your name? Not your title, your name. Inspector Carver. Why does that? Inspector Carver, do you have children? Carver's jaw tightened. That's not relevant. It's not? Ethan's voice was gentle now. Because if you did, you'd understand what she's fighting for. You'd understand that sometimes the law gets it wrong. That sometimes mercy is more important than rules. That sometimes we have to choose between what's legal and what's right. The law exists for a reason, Carver said, but her tone wavered. So does kindness. So does humanity. Ethan took a step closer. Look at them. Really look at them. A mother trying to protect her child. A little girl who's done nothing wrong. Are you really going to tear them apart because of paperwork? For a long moment, no one moved. Mira's quiet sobbing was the only sound. Inspector Carver stared at Ethan, then at Liara, then at the little girl in the yellow raincoat. Something flickered across the inspector's face, something human beneath the professional mask. Finally, Carver closed her tablet with a firm snap. You have 24 hours to file an appeal. If you can show proof of a real job and proper sponsorship, along with a payment plan for the money you owe, we'll review her case for temporary status. She turned to the officers. We're done here. Ma'am, one of the Cathan officers protested. I said, we're done. Move out. They left. The door hissed shut. Ethan let out a breath and sank onto the couch, his hands shaking now. Why did you do that? Liara whispered. You could have been arrested. Your son could have been taken. Would have been worth it, he said simply. 24 hours isn't enough. I don't have a job. I don't have sponsorship. I don't have anything. You have me. I'll sponsor you. I work at the recycling plant. If I can prove I'm financially responsible for you and Mira, they'll give you a temporary permit. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're a mother fighting for her daughter. I know you need help. That's all I need to know. Tears ran down Liara's face. You can't risk your future for strangers. You're not strangers anymore. Mira looked up at Ethan, her eyes wide. Are you going to save my mama? Ethan knelt down, eye level with her. I'm going to try as hard as I can, but I'll need your help. Can you be brave for me? Mira nodded, shaking but determined. Good. He stood and moved to an old computer. First thing tomorrow we file the paperwork, but tonight you both need rest. As Liara lay back, exhausted, she watched Ethan work through forms on the screen, his face lit by pale blue glow. She didn't understand him, didn't understand how someone could give so much. And just when everyone thought they would break, something was revealed that no one expected. Ethan's computer pinged with an incoming message. Velar Embassy, urgent legal notice. Morning light came through the dome. Liara woke to fake coffee and Ethan's urgent voice on his communication device. I understand it's complicated, but there has to be a rule that applies. Check the Galactic Refugee Act of 2187, Section 12. He paused. I don't care if it's rarely used, it's still law. Mira was asleep on the bed. Ethan glanced over and ended the call. The Velar Embassy message came through last night, he said, showing her his tablet. Liara read it, her blood turning cold. Subject: Liara Veshner, active criminal investigation. Wanted for equipment destruction, theft of company research, extradition requested. They're claiming I stole research, Liara whispered. That's not true. They're making it up to force me back. Tell me what really happened, Ethan said gently. All of it, Liara took a shaky breath. I was a brain scientist, one of the best on Velar Prime. I worked on making brains better for deep space travel. The work required exposure to strong brainwaves. We had safety systems. But one day the protection field failed. She touched her temple. I was caught in the blast. Full exposure. I should have died. Instead, my brain rewired itself. My body stopped working right. The weight gain was immediate and couldn't be reversed. You survived something impossible, Ethan said. That's not weakness. That's amazing. My people don't see it that way. They see failure. The facility claimed I turned off the safety systems myself. They said the weight gain was proof of mental problems, that I couldn't be trusted with Mira. Her voice broke. They wanted to take her away, put me in a prison-like place. So I ran. The research they claim you stole? My own notes, my own work. But technically, under Varian job law, it belonged to the facility. It's worth millions. If someone could figure out how to use my brain changes safely, it would change space travel forever. Ethan leaned back, thinking. So, they want you back because you're worth money. Exactly. A knock at the door. Ethan opened it to see a young boy with dark curly hair and bright eyes, wearing a shirt with a spaceship on it. Dad, the boy rushed in and hugged Ethan. Hey kiddo, how was Grandma's? Good, she made real pancakes. The boy noticed Liara and Mira. Who are they? This is Liara and her daughter Mira. They're staying with us. I need you to be extra kind, okay? Okay, I'm Jonah. Do you like spaceships? Mira peeked over the bed edge. Yes, she said shyly. Me too. Want to see my models? Within minutes, the children were on the floor laughing together, a sound that filled the apartment with hope. Ethan's communication device beeped. The legal aid lawyer found something. There's a rule. If you have special skills valuable to the colony, deportation can be delayed. But my work records are on Valar. Then we don't use work records. We use knowledge. Ethan pulled up blueprints. The recycling plant's been trying to automate brain-like sorting systems for months. The computer keeps failing. Someone with your background could solve it. I haven't worked in months. I don't know if I can. You just have to be better than their computer. Can you do that? Liara thought of Mira laughing, of the chance to build something here. Yes, she whispered. I can do that. It wasn't just knowledge. It was something she could pass on. And suddenly, as Liara's fingers moved across the screen with growing confidence, everyone in that small apartment understood they were seeing something amazing. The recycling plant spread across Sector 5, a huge building of moving belts and tall burning machines. Ethan brought Liara through the employee entrance, the children staying in the viewing area, with a kind alien woman named Kelsa. Inside the control room, chaos ruled. Alarms blared, engineers shouted. On the main screen, a digital map showed the facility's computer network in red. System failure coming. We're losing the East processing line, yelled the shift supervisor Torres. If it goes down, we're looking at a 2-week backup. The colony will drown in garbage. Ethan walked up with Liara. Torres, I brought someone who can help. Torres looked doubtful. Who's this? Dr. Liara Veshner, brain scientist. She specialized in learning computer networks. I don't care if she's the queen of... Torres snapped. Unless she can reprogram a failing computer in 30 minutes, she's useless. Give me access to your system, Liara said quietly. Something in her voice made Torres stop. Terminal 3, 20 minutes. That's it. If you mess this up, the entire facility goes down. Liara moved to the terminal, her movement slow but careful. Her fingers found the controls, and suddenly it was like stepping back into her old life. The computer network's design appeared, beautiful but broken. She could see it immediately. You're using a fixed learning model, she said quietly. That's your problem. Your computer learns from old information, but it can't guess what's coming next. It's like teaching someone to recognize apples and then asking them to identify a pear. Her fingers flew across the keys. You need a learning system that changes, something that recognizes patterns it's never seen before. The room fell silent as she worked. 10 minutes passed, then 15. Time's up, Torres said. I have to shut it down. Wait, Ethan said. 1 more minute. Liara entered the final command. The alarm stopped. On the main display, the red network changed to yellow, then to green. Processing efficiency climbed from 42% to 78% in seconds. What the heck? Torres breathed. It's learning, Liara said softly. Give it an hour. It'll reach 90% efficiency. The room erupted in cheers. Torres stared at the screen, then at Liara. Consider yourself hired. Full-time specialist pay. That afternoon, they filed updated sponsorship forms. Inspector Carver reviewed the documents and stamped approval. "Temporary residency granted," she said. "1 year can be renewed if you follow the rules." As they left, Carver called after them. "What you did? It's rare. People here don't usually fight for each other." "Maybe they should," Ethan said. Carver nodded slowly. "Maybe they should." But the final change came not from words. It came from a message that night. The Velar Embassy, officially withdrawing all charges, explaining new evidence of equipment breakdown, signed by Dr. Kaylin Veshner, Liara's former teacher, who'd finally found the courage to tell the truth. 3 months passed. Liara's computer program changed the recycling plant. Efficiency reached 94%. Other facilities asked for her help. She found a doctor who understood her condition. Not a cure, but treatment and respect. Mira started school. She and Jonah were best friends. One evening, Ethan came home with a tablet. "The Colony Council wants to meet with you. They're proposing a new program, integration support for refugee specialists. You'd help design it." Liara stared at the proposal. It was real. "This is because of you," she said. "This is because of you," Ethan replied. "You proved people are more than their situations." The next day, Liara stood before the Colony Council, presenting her plan for refugee integration, skills testing, mentorship programs, legal support. Questions came, challenges, concerns. Liara answered each one, her voice steady, her knowledge clear. The vote was unanimous. As she walked out, Ethan waited with Jonah and Mira. The children ran forward, hugging her. "You did it, Mama," Mira squealed. Ethan smiled. "How does it feel to change the world?" "Like coming home," Liara said. 2 years later, the Integration Center stood at Sector 7's heart, a shining building built from recycled materials. Liara's program was copied on 17 colonies. She spoke at conferences, advised governments, but always returned to Sector 7. On the anniversary of the night they met, Liara organized a gathering in the center's courtyard. 2 years ago, she began, I sat in the rain, convinced the universe had no place for me. But one man proved me wrong. Not with grand gestures, with a simple choice to see me as a person, to act when others walked away. She pointed to Ethan. This center exists because of that choice. Because we remembered that kindness isn't weakness, that the smallest act of caring can reshape the stars. Applause filled the courtyard. Later, Liara found Ethan by the courtyard's edge looking up at the dome. "What are you thinking?" she asked. "That my wife would have loved this," he said softly. "She always believed in second chances, in fighting for what's right. She'd be proud of you. She'd be proud of us." "All of us!" Mira and Jonah ran past, their laughter bright and wild. "Do you think they'll remember what it took to get here?" Ethan asked. "I think they'll remember that love is louder than hate, that courage spreads, that family isn't just who you're born to. It's who stands beside you when the world tells you to fall." Ethan smiled. "That's a good thing to remember." Far above, beyond the dome, beyond the colony, beyond the systems and the stars, the universe turned in its ancient dance, uncaring, endless, unchanged. But on one small world, in one small sector, in one small courtyard, people gathered. They laughed, they remembered, they hoped. And that, in the end, was everything. In a universe built on pride and separation, sometimes a single act of respect is enough to shift the stars themselves. Not because the stars care, but because we do. And that makes all the difference.